Prime Minister Modi received a call from the Bangladesh interim chief and Nobel Peace Prize winner Muhammad Yunus on the state of affairs in Bangladesh and his government's efforts in providing relief and assistance to the minorities who face attacks and persecution in the country. Not just this, Prime Minister Modi also mentioned the unrest in Bangladesh in his Independence Day speech at the Red Fort and spoke about how the reverberations of what is happening in Bangladesh could reach or impact India as well. While the interim government chief Muhammad Yunus has assured Prime Minister Modi the safety of the minorities of the country after himself having visited the Dhakeshwari temple in Dhaka, questions pertaining to his efforts in making the minorities feel secure still remain, as attacks on shops, businesses and the lives of Hindus still continue in the country. Questions such as the protection of Hindus are nothing but normal, rather needed at this hour. However, while the Indian Prime Minister seems to have spoken repeatedly on the state of minorities in Bangladesh, the real question lies as to why the world has pleaded the fifth on the same. Well, talking about pleading the fifth, the United States, famous for its sanctions on countries for violating human rights, especially those based on religious persecution, has chosen to stay mum on the issue despite repeated instances that cloud the country. Well, as the protesters attempt to form a new party to end the duopoly of the existing and dominant parties Awami League and Bangladesh Nationalist Party that have been ruling over Bangladesh for a long time, questions pertaining to human rights and stability in the country continue to remain and come up. Well, with the lead forces of the unrest attempting to form the party, questions on attacks on minorities and state of affairs are important and necessary to ask, especially amidst the deafening silence that the world is choosing to maintain on these attacks. Even the responses that have come about have been lukewarm and half-hearted. We'll talk about this with some of the people who understand the situation of not only what's happening in Bangladesh, but a lot more. Ambassador Suresh Kumar Goel, former diplomat, joins us on the show. Mrs. Sumit Peer, senior political commentator, regular on my show, is also here with us. Major General Dhruv Katoch, Director of India Foundation, defense expert, joins us on the program as well. Mr. Pratim Ranjan Bose, columnist, also with us on the program. Ambassador Goel, I'll begin with you, sir. Well, it's okay, you've called the Prime Minister, you've assured him, I'm going to take care of things, but that definitely doesn't seem to be the priority of the interim chief at this point in time. He has to slow down this travesty that's going on in Bangladesh for a very long time now, and then he's going to focus on how to take care of the nooks and the crannies. And of course, for them, the minorities and the issues at this point in time are trivial in nature. What should India do? Should we just wait and watch for these atrocities to continue? Is there something diplomatically, sir, that you advocate that should be done at this point in time in your long career? You must have seen situations perhaps not similar to this or not analogous to this, but situations which demand some sort of an action that would save lives of people who still continue to live in Bangladesh and are minorities.
You said India should continue to watch these atrocities take place. I don't think that is what we are talking about, that India will continue to watch while the atrocities continue to take place. I think our position is that when the atrocities are taking place, we are concerned about them, not simply because of the Hindu minorities, but because any instability in Bangladesh is going to mean instability at our borders. It's going to mean migration into our territories. Whether it is Hindus or Muslims, please do remember that before the government changed, it was the Muslims who were being killed. Please remember in 1971, there was a large-scale migration into India because there was a violence against the population of then East Pakistan by the armies of, I would say the occupying armies of West Pakistan in the country. What we are concerned about is that any instability, any such happening in Bangladesh is going to mean problem for us. And I think essentially Muhammad Yunus does understand it, because he would have otherwise reacted the way he reacted after the first call by Prime Minister Modi, immediately after taking over, when Prime Minister Modi called him to talk to him after his takeover. He became the chief advisor. He did say that he did Muhammad Yunus to ensure safety and security of Hindu minorities and all minorities. He did say that. And Muhammad Yunus did acknowledge it, and he did say later that he will resign unless the violence comes under control. Therefore, first point really here is that Muhammad Yunus does recognize the importance of bringing violence against minorities under control, because the survival of the government in Bangladesh itself would depend upon it. And that's important. The relationship between India and Bangladesh is important, and the survival of the government in Bangladesh is important. The point really here is, will it take place now? Will it take some time, or how long will it take? My impression is that after the water has come to a boil, the simmering, it is not simmering, but it will cool down, because I've maintained always, and I'm saying it again, in Bangladesh, it is not a question of Hindu religion or Islamic religion. It is coming up, that polarization is coming up, happening now. But most of the time, right from the independence in 71, and I've seen it myself, it is a question of Bengali identity. And that Bengali identity in Bangladesh is most important than anything else. My comparison for Bangladesh would be really like Indonesia, where the religion may be Islam, but the identity is Indian, Hindu culture, a Hindu civilization. And they see no problem in maintaining an Islamic religion with a Hindu civilizational background. Therefore, my sense would be, we keep a watch over it, we do not allow it to go beyond certain limits, but we must work with the government in Bangladesh to bring it control. If we use high-handed measures at any given time, it could actually boomerang. Vinny.
Sumit Peer, I know you have a different perspective on what's happening in Bangladesh at this point in time. Well, these are our own people, Sumit, that are being tortured, humiliated and persecuted in Bangladesh. Are the words of the interim leader just about enough? And even when he assumed control of Bangladesh, these atrocities were going on. And even today, while he is in control, he's in the thick of things, these atrocities continue. What should India do at this point in time? Obviously, most Bangladeshis, Sumit, are also forgetting the fact that it was India that was instrumental for giving them the freedom that has allowed them, to be whatever they are today. If Bangladesh's economy was looking up, it was because of the efforts which were made by the Indian Army, along with Mukti Bahini in 1971, that has led to Bangladesh being a free country. And look at Pakistan. Had they been with Pakistan, they would have met the same fate as Pakistan is dealing with at this point in time. What are your ideas of what India should be doing at this point in time? We're not even touching if there is something militarily that India should be executing to save the lives of these people. If we can go across the border, to avenge the death of our soldiers into Pakistan, then do you think it's a good idea to entertain that we should also cross the border and save these people who perhaps are looking for us to help them? Sumit.
Vinny, thank you very much for having me on your show. It's a very emotive issue, because what we are talking here is a civilizational thing. Because, what is happening in Bangladesh is not against Bengali culture, is against a Bengali, a Bangladeshi, a Bengali, and who is a Hindu. If it was happening across the board, then it's okay thing, that is their pursuit. Now, population has decreased from 27% to 8% today. The things have gone wrong, things are going bad. And now what we are seeing right now is a very difficult and a typical situation, what things are happening right now. So what we see right now is a typical imminent genocide which the Hindus are facing. You see, today I'll tell you some things. They have entered the apartments of Dhaka, apartments in Dhaka. They are raping the Hindu women. They are doing what they have to do. And after raping, they are asking 20 lakh taka do, will spare your life. This is what the sources tell. And if you are rich, then you might be asked 1 crore or 2 crore to save your life. But they will rape you. They will rape women. They will rape children. Those kids even, they are not leaving them. Now, in this situation, waiting is not an option. I have only one submission to ask on national TV. When in 1971 Muslim atrocities and genocide was happening, when Muslims were getting raped and slaughtered, Indian army went in and did what it had to do. How is it different from 2024 today? Today, again, the same level of atrocities, same goddamn thing is happening. It's because of Hindus. So we want to keep our eyes closed because Muslims ke saath nahi ho raha. So we'll keep our eyes closed. We want to be politically correct and we want to be seeing nothing. Is Indian army here to only liberate Muslims of Bangladesh? What about the Hindus of Bangladesh? Is a Hindu, a Bengali, a Bangladeshi not a part of Bangladesh? Why is he targeted? Why have women been raped? Why have they entered the apartments of Dhaka? Why Nale Takbir, Allahu Akbar everywhere? Why ISIS flags? Why only Hindu shop, Hindu temple and Hindu this is tarnished? Regarding Muhammad Yunus, he's a stooge of CIA, sorry. 84 airborne. What do you expect him to do, Vineet? He is good for nothing. Kuch nahi kar payega. He's doing the semantics and optics going to a Kali temple. What has he done? I told you time and again, these are jihadis will take control. Now these so-called Reuters and murderers, they are forming their own party. I told you BNP will not be in the game. They don't have cadre. Awami League is out. Yunus cannot control the situation. Ultimately, Jamatis or their affiliates will run the show. That is what is happening here. So we have option to act and liberate our Hindus there. If Bangladesh has to be divided again in 2-3 parts, let it be done. And if we do not act, don't expect America, Israel and all to do. It's the only Israel has spoken openly about it. If we as Hindus are not bothered about the Hindu next door, why do you think Joe Biden is bothered? I'll tell you yesterday what happened. Yesterday there was a peace talk in Doha. And you know who was there? This Qatari Prime Minister was there. Egypt's intelligence head was there. Mossad's intelligence head was there. And who was there? Bill Burns, the CIA head. Why? Because they want to negotiate the truce between Israel and Iran, and ultimately they don't want a Iran-America kind of a conflict. So when you take the initiatives, people will come. America will even send a CIA director here, ke bhai chhod do, do it. But if we set a deadline, if we set a Lakshman Rekha, bhai this is our Lakshman Rekha and this is our time. If within this time this is not achieved, then all the options are open. But are we communicating that to Muhammad Yunus? No. We are telling him, Asha kar rahe ki sab theek hoga. Look, these people are not run by Asha. They are not run by Asha. It is blatant Islamist jihadis and Wahhabis who have taken over. These Jamatis people are taking over. They are only targeting Hindus. That is the only thing they are best at. Vineet, the Hindu population is eliminated in Afghanistan. It is decimated in Pakistan. I'm even talking about 6 boats and jans put together. And exactly that is going to happen under our watchful eye in Bangladesh. 10-15 years down the line, there might be no Hindu in Bangladesh. So whom are we going to call? Biden? Mossad? Are we going to talk to, Trudeau, or are we going to talk to somebody else? How will it matter? Why is Joe Biden bothered if we are not bothered? Set a deadline, give them a warning. Tomorrow Americans will start talking. Because today they believe you're only talking, there's no action to be followed. Why should I get my hands dirty? And America has been a part of this coup. Let's not forget, China funded, ISI implemented. Americans wanted this coup to happen. Americans wanted San Martin Islands West. Americans are a part of this. How do you expect Joe Biden to talk about it? But when he thinks things are going out of the control and their interests are getting hurt, then only they will talk. Because when it's an Iran versus America conflict which is shaping up, that is why Bill Burns was yesterday in Doha. And he's saying, I'm going to go to Cairo also because I want this peace talk to happen, because American interests, their allies' interests are at stake. Today, if we are only talking and not talking of anything decisive, trust me, these atrocities, this genocide will keep on happening, will keep on talking. When temples were getting vandalized, we talked again and again and again. Did it stop? No, it didn't stop. And it will not stop unless and until India puts its hand down and sets a deadline, sets a Lakshman Rekha. Iske aage nahi. Then Yunus and all will fall in place. Otherwise, let's look at all the options we have. And I have one serious problem. Let's not give the world this opinion that Hindus can be done whatever we are, and our army will only go and liberate and do when Muslims are killed. When Hindus are killed, we have a different policy. And we are ourselves a Hindu nation with a different policy for Hindus. And we expect Christians to talk, we expect Jews to talk, we expect everybody in the else to talk and come in, but we will be politically conveniently away.
All right, let's get General Katoch also to weigh in on this. General Katoch, is this an emotional decision for India at this point in time of what's happening to Hindus? Is there a sense of how dare they in India when it comes to Bangladesh and their treatment of our Hindu brethren there?
Thank you, Vineet. Vineet, for very long, right since independence, India has been like that proverbial chap who keeps his eyes closed and says, there's no danger because I can't see it. We refused to speak for the atrocities which were committed in Afghanistan against the minority population, and we refused to speak what happened in Pakistan. And now we have people saying, oh, Bangladesh mein to Bengali identity hai. अरे भाई साहब, ये बंगाली आइडेंटिटी तो बहुत पहले से थी उनकी. They had this Bengali, and now this Bengali identity has been killed because they have become a jihadist state. It is an Islamic republic which you're seeing there now. It was created, it was put into that constitution that Islam will be the religion of this country. Sheikh Hasina did her very best to keep it under control, but even under her very benign leadership, there were attacks on the Hindus. Last year, 14 of them. This year, post this, more than 300 to 400 attacks have taken place on Hindu places of worship. Let us not soft pedal it. There is a problem. And if you're blind and you don't want to see it, well, that's all right. We can't help you there. Now, what should India do? One, I'm not with Sumit as far as the military option is concerned as of now. I don't think the military option is required. All that you need to do is to, one, I think the Prime Minister set it off on a very correct tone. On the 15th of August, he gave a very clear message, which forced Mr. Yunus to speak to the Prime Minister today. I think what we need as an immediate step is economic sanctions. Cut off this country. They are already running to inflation at 15 to 30%. It'll become 100%, 200%, 400%. Cut off their vegetable supply, cut off their energy supplies, cut off everything. This has to be treated in a manner in which those people, the jihadis, will understand. It is not a government run by Mr. Muhammad Yunus. He is an incompetent nincompoop. He may be the head of state or whatever he is. He may have got the Nobel Prize. But please remember, he is also a convicted felon in Bangladesh. He stole from the poorest of Bengalis poor. And now the courts will acquit him because very conveniently, the Chief Justice and 5 judges were forced to resign. They were forced to resign by the Islamic jihadists. They have the cadre and they are going to rule the roost. They have said already there will be no election for the next 3 to 6 years. That indication is very clear. So I think India has to lay down very, very clearly the red lines. I presume the Prime Minister has done it. And there will be repercussions for everything which they do. But 3 things are our immediate problem. One, when they start killing the Hindu population in Bangladesh, there are going to be problems within India. We have to ensure it doesn't happen. Number 2, we don't want any migration of either Muslims or Hindus from Bangladesh into India. And number 3, and this red line also must be dictated very clearly to whomsoever is in power in Bangladesh, you will not give support to Indian insurgent groups on the soil of Bangladesh. That will be a red line, and that will involve the movement of the Indian army getting into you. The other 2 aspects, please handle it, otherwise we will hit you economically. You start with the third, the army will move in, and this time there will be very, very severe consequences. Last time, I think the Pakistanis, the Indian army let them off. Very frankly, we didn't try them for genocide. We should have actually taken them and tried them for genocide. This time, these perpetrators, we should capture them and try them for genocide if it continues. There is no soft peddling. There is no soft peddling at all. That legacy which Mujib Rahman has given lies dead and buried. It was buried the day they destroyed the statue of Mujib, and then they destroyed all those iconic figures which had come up to commemorate that great victory. They've destroyed the memorial which they have conducted to the Indian army. They've destroyed everything. They don't want to remember that because they have become an Islamic nation. Let's face it, they are a jihadist Islamic lot. It is not just Pakistan. It is worse than Pakistan now, and we have to tell them to get off. Otherwise, there will be consequences. Beneath.
I see the emotions you have, sir, when it comes to what's happening with our Hindu brethren in Bangladesh. Pratham, General Katoch is absolutely right. I mean, of course, we have to go with the soft approach first, and the soft approach obviously has to be economic sanctions. India has supported this country in more ways than one. We have not attained much out of it. It doesn't mean that we are transactional, but the fact of the matter is that Hindus are being slaughtered, and there seems to be no accountability. There doesn't seem to be any remorse, and there doesn't even seem to be a credible promise that situations in the future will change. You're muted, Pratham.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Vinita, I belong to a family which had its roots in East Bengal. And whether it is my house help to the other persons, people have been almost are from that side, and they have been coming all through these years. Now, I would first like to stress that rhetorics and aggression are not going to help much. In this case, we have to understand that it is not the state actor which does this. It is the non-state actor. And we have to ensure that the Bangladeshi state does not support the non-state actors. That was the case when BNP Jamaat was in power between 2001 and 2006. So, because in a state versus non-state actor fight, as you see it in Israel, it is non-state actor always has an advantage. I mean, I just like to put it like this, because I see the problem. I am more emotional than any one of them. And I have been studying Indo-Bangla relations for many years. So, you see, it is all known fact that there are studies by Professor Abdul Barkat who said that between 1991 and 2012, every day 700 plus, he has exact figures in different phases, 700 plus people were coming from Bangladesh to India. And we know that it is happening every day, even during Hasina's time, but at lesser number. And there are many social issues. Now let's cut back and see where things are now. The interim government that has taken place, I have nothing against them practically. If you look at the body, they're good people. The problem is that whether they have adequate control over the things. And what is happening is Bangladesh is going through a flux, and my fear is, I'll be very happy if I'm proven wrong, but normally I don't go wrong in these cases. But that Bangladesh will remain volatile for many years to come now, because there will be a power struggle between this BNP Jamaat. BNP is hungry for power. They would love to get it. There are some civil society groups who are expecting the Muhammad Yunus to correct the economy, but BNP is hungry for power. Meanwhile, Jamaat and all Hifazat, they are occupying all the places are just outside or next to the advisories, the top level. So you can, and what is happening in Bangladesh right at this moment is mobocracy. One must understand that after we have seen very nice messaging by Prime Minister, and it acted, and the attacks that started happening, particularly from August 4, that had subsided. It is whatever now is happening is part of overall mobocracy that is going on over there, and in that mobocracy, they are attacking some 30-40% of their own population. Please understand. You may be aware, 51 journalists have been listed out. It is like a Taliban rule. Every day I'm getting calls from many journalists. They are scared. Someone's name has been, there's some fatwa. I mean, not exactly fatwa, but the student thing.
Okay, all right. Okay, we have a paucity of time. I want to get concluding thoughts from everybody before we wrap up. Ambassador Goel, yeah, I'll come back to you. Just give me a second. Ambassador Goel, before we wrap up, concluding thoughts from you, sir. 30 seconds, no more.
Thank you very much, Vinny. I do recall one or two things. First of all, I have seen statements. I have not been to Bangladesh in the last 1 or 2 years, but I do see statements that the same Bangladeshi students who were actually protesting on the roads, they are also protecting the Hindu temples and the Hindu population by standing around them, and that they are doing it because basically there is no police there at the moment in terms of providing protection. So I think we need to understand whether what is happening to the Hindu population is happening because of the Bangladeshi people or Bangladeshi Muslims, or is it happening because of certain other elements which have been actually creating a problem even earlier, even during Sheikh Hasina's time. Please do remember that the protests or the atrocities against the Hindu houses was taking place even during Sheikh Hasina's time. And Sheikh Hasina was not able to control them. Why? Please understand, Vinny, that we must stop looking at Bangladesh from the prism of Hindu-Muslim.
All right. Okay.
This is a mistake by agreeing to partition. Let us not repeat the same mistake here.
All right. All right. Sumit, we should not be looking at Bangladesh from the prism of Hindu-Muslim. That's a valid point that Ambassador Goel has made. Your thoughts?
Vineet, it is Hindu-Muslim. Bangladesh is an Islamic theocracy now. It is gone as Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's legacy. I agree with General Saab when he says we should set a red line. But now I want to bring this on. In Chittagong Hills, Huji is getting activated. In Chittagong Hills, all these jihadi sangatans are getting activated and their target is India. Why 1,200 prisoners were let go and they were coming to India? This is BSF statement, not my statement. Why all these why all the jailbreaks, all the radicals are set and let come to India? Why Hindus are targeted? Why Hindu women are only raped? You know, when you say one or two optics, वो तो photo shoot के लिए करना पड़ता है ना. You mentioned one or two optics where you have some Muslim boys trying to protect a Hindu temple and all, but in 99% of the places you vandalize, kill and rape, then you have two photo shoots where I am trying to protect it. What should I believe, 99 or 1? Mathematics says me believe 99, not 1. When can be only semantics and optics? India has one thing. This Bangladeshi economy has one flagship product, that is cotton, this bedsheet and all exports what they do. 98% of the raw material goes from India. I am appealing to the government of India, stop the export of cotton to Bangladesh. घुटनों पे आ जाएंगे. खाने को नहीं मिलेगा ना, घुटनों पे आ जाएंगे.
Okay. All right. Quickly. All right. General Katoch, 30 seconds, sir.
Thank you, Vineet. Vineet, we understand that there is a problem in Bangladesh. Soft peddling it is not going to let it go. I think the time has come to be firm, use the economic option now and keep the military stick to be wielded later, but give them the message. Otherwise, it'll get worse. Help the Bangladeshi people by putting economic sanctions on them to get those jihadis in line. Vineet.
Pratham?
Yeah, India has already started taking economic safeguard measures. If you see, allowing the power plant to sell power in India is a corrective measure, is opening your safety net. So we should go with things. We should go with things, economics and everything. As I said, the secular lobby has to be strengthened, and we should ensure that these jihadis or hujis and etc. are controlled. That should be our. And the government, as I see very good things, that the government is maintaining its pressure on this religious thing.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.